and turned his body completely toward her. Paige wondered what this was all about. "You know," he said, "I've been debating whether to have this discussion with you for a good while now, but for some reason, tonight feels right. We just made the most passionate love, and I've never been more sure about our relationship." Paige wasn't sure she liked where this conversation was headed, and didn't say anything. "You know I love you, right?" he said, continuing. "Yeah, I guess. I love you more than anything in this world." Paige fell silent again, and when Owen moved from the sofa and down to the floor on one knee, her heart dropped. He positioned himself directly in front of her, and then pulled out a tiny royal blue velvet box. "Paige Donahue, will you marry me?" Paige was taken aback, and still had no words to speak. She tried answering him, or at least to make some sort of comment, but she couldn't. "Sweetheart, I know we haven't spoken much about marriage, but I don't think my feelings about you have ever been a secret. I love you, and I want to spend the rest of my life with you. So how about it? Will you do me the great honor of becoming my wife?" I... Look, Owen," she finally said. "This is truly very kind of you, but I'm sorry to say that I'm not ready for marriage." Owen stared at her, clearly hurt by her rejection. "But why?" "Because I'm just not." "So does this mean you don't love me?" "No, it doesn't mean that at all, but I have to be honest. I love you, but I'm not in love with you." Owen sighed deeply, got to his feet, and sat back down on the sofa. Paige saw how devastated, heartbroken, and confused he was, but there was nothing she could do about it. "I'm really sorry," she said innocently. Owen set the tiny box down on the glass coffee table. "Wow," he said, shaking his head. "I feel like a complete fool, especially since you've been telling me for months that you did love me." "That's because I do, but not in the way a woman should love a man when she's ready to marry him." Owen looked at her, noticeably perturbed. "Well, Paige, if you weren't in love with me, and you've known that you weren't all this time, then why have you been allowing me to pay half your car note every month and take you shopping in stores I really couldn't afford, not to mention the cash I gave you from almost every paycheck?" "I don't get what you mean," she said, acting as though she didn't understand what he was saying. "You know exactly what I mean. Why did you use me the way you did?" Paige raised her eyebrows, now losing patience with him. "Look, Owen, I never forced you to do any of those things. You helped with my car payment and bought nice things for me all on your own." Owen folded his arms. "So, not once did you hint around about how tough things were for you, or how hard it was paying all your bills? Not once did you tell me you were experiencing a slow period with clients and that you didn't know what you were going to do?" Paige looked away from him, knowing she had hinted a few times about her $800 Lexus car payment, on purpose, and how she had also lured him into high-end department stores only to express how much she loved a certain dress or handbag. She told him how she wished she could buy some of those things, but just couldn't afford it. She'd done this because she'd learned early on that Owen did care a lot for her and wanted her to be happy. She discovered how compassionate he was, and, right or wrong, she'd preyed on his sympathy every chance she'd gotten. Now, though, she wanted nothing to do with the idea of marrying him and hoped he would eventually understand that. "So, what does this mean for us?" he asked, still angry. "I mean, do you think you'll ever be in love with me? Will you ever want to become my wife?" Paige hesitated for a few seconds. Then she said, "No, I'm sorry, but I just don't see that happening." "Wow," he said. Paige placed her hand on the side of his arm. "I really am sorry." Owen grabbed his jeans and sweater from the back of the sofa and slipped them on. "I don't know when I've ever been more disappointed or pissed off. But hey, I guess it is what it is." I never meant to hurt you, Owen. I never meant for...